more or less kind of on the Rory aspect, what is going on with him right now?
I think he's got some demons going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially, he tried to bring the old spark back with the putter, and I thought that was really confusing from my standpoint, since that's kind of my forte as putting is, statistically speaking, with that spider or a mallet style, he's always putted better.
Right.
And then a few weeks before going into a major championship, you change what I feel is the most important club in the bag. I think there's a lot of mental, battles he might be fighting there.
And it shows how good of a golfer he is. He's one of the most talented golfers of all time, but chops that's a chop to cut your driver to 44 inches, completely switch your putter. That's not a player that has it all together.
No, for sure. And I mean, obviously he's got he had such a huge letdown at the Masters not making the cut when he was trying to achieve the career Grand Slam.
Well, he's also a PGA Tour commissioner.
Well, no, he's a politician for the PGA Tour.
That's a good point.
And I think that's kind of what is a distraction for his play, is sidetracking him. He's caught up in the politics of these tours and not worried about his
just
own
playing
game.
golf.
Just playing golf.
He is the creator of elevated events.
Right. This is his schedule.
He is the creator. And I'm going to be the first to say, and trust me, I love Rory. He was my favorite golfer growing up, and I typically don't have any favorite golfers. It was him and Adam Scott. He created all these elevated events. He's pushing next year for 8 to 10 events with no cuts. Like, of course you are, because the biggest events, you're going to miss the cut anyway. Right. So you're trying to make sure that, you're always going to be there on Sunday. Yeah. Players this year, Masters this year, you missed the cut. 2 biggest events of the year. Created an elevated event, you don't show up.
Right.
Now, let's just hope nothing crazy happened, family-wise or anything like that kept him away. But I just don't think you could be the most vocal player on tour and then essentially not give a reason
and let
why
everybody
you're
know.
Right, and just not show up.
Yeah. I mean, because think about all those fans in Hilton Head. How many people do you think travel to Hilton Head? Which Hilton Head is one of the worst places to get to. It's like one way in, one way out. Now, so you got people that have sat in cars for a long time to go watch the top players play, the hints of the elevated event. They all agreed to this last year at the Players and up in Delaware when they had a meeting, and Tiger flew up there. They made this big deal about it, to essentially combat live. Mm-hmm. And then your biggest player doesn't show up. I mean, any other sport, that would be a fine.
Oh, yeah. Plus, isn't he a past champion of the
Rory?
RBC Heritage?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure on that one.
Has he ever played that tournament?
When he was earlier on, I think he did.
He's won a lot.
I'll look it up. We'll look it up. But I think, it's kind of funny not to hit on him, but he definitely had more time to recover for that tournament than Rahm did.
Oh, yeah.
Because
a
Rahm
lot of
went through 2 of the
players.
most brutal days of golf that we've seen in a major in a long time.
I mean, I was just saying, not just including Rahm, but, I think Xander came out and was like, we're all tired. Like Spieth said, the reason why he had some sloppy holes at the Masters is what he played 8 weeks before that.
Yeah.
That being said, Spieth, that was your choice. You are a professional golfer. If that's going to be the excuse, then I guess Sung J M shouldn't be able to complete
every single week,
complete a season, because what did he play? 32 events last year.
Right.
Dude, I call him the walking ATM.
Based on this, it doesn't look. It's kind of hard to research because as soon as you type in RBC and Rory, it's links and links and links about just.
It
withdrawals.
might be just that I'm thinking about he's something else was going on.
And being that we come more from the spectator side, right? We're closer to the spectator side more than the golf media, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy for us to say that this should be a bigger deal than it is, which it is a big deal. That the number 3, or is he number 2 or number 3?
Depends on which week it is.
Top 3 player in the world creates events and doesn't show up for them.
Correct.
That's a problem.
I say when you are getting to hand create your schedule that you want, and you can't show up for the events, there's a problem there.
Yeah, and I think that's going to lead to even more issues next year with designated events and how they want no-cut designated events. Because now we're learning what RBC won't have that field probably in a long time.
Right. Not until the next time it comes around as an elevated event again.
And it didn't have that field before. But the nice thing is it's led to great winners. Local guy Wesley Bryan won it. Spieth won it multiple times now. What's his name? Shidoshi Kitty. Gentleman won it a few years ago that not many people heard of on tour.
Right.
You know, so I think it's definitely
It has had some unique winners for sure.
But it's just one of those events, just like the RBC Canadian is the week before the Open Championship, so it doesn't get a good
huge
field.
Yeah.
Especially since most of the players which I guess, is it going to be elevated at some point too?
What was that?
The Canadian?
I think they are doing it. Yeah.
Because that'll play an intricate role as they prepare for a major now. Because again, they set up these events, so for them to stack it on either the front end or the back end of a major, that's kind of a little bit confusing as well.
Well, and the PGA Tour has to do it because their sponsors is how they get the money.
Correct.
So RBC essentially said, if you want to fork out all this money, you need to bring players to our events. If you want us to keep putting more money in, you need to guarantee players, which I think is definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think something, to maybe not overlook about it either is how cool would it be for these elevated events that are happening if one of those rookies come out and win it, if one of these guys who they're playing on a sponsor's exemption or they Monday qualified and they make the cut, they're not getting the same paycheck they would have 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think there is a benefit to the elevated events in terms of having a bigger purse. But on the same token, if a player withdraws, they should add another player back into the field because that's something they did not do.
Yeah.
So
it gives someone a chance to play for that.
Absolutely, because if you were the 51st guy on the list, you didn't get in.
Yeah.
Even though someone withdrew. So I feel like that's one thing that they'll need to look at.